This week on Reliving the Extreme, we are discussing the episode of ECW TV, Hardcore TV from November 17th, 1996. And most of the footage on this show is coming out of November to Remember 1996. I did not do my due diligence and watch November to Remember, but Aaron did. So he's going to kind of give us a lowdown on the matches from the entire show. But like I said, there's some of it was featured on this week's episode of ECW TV. And I'm Nate Maxon, your host, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
And Chad Boozy. Chad Austin.
What's up, donkeys?
What's up is here. I think between yesterday and today, it has dropped like 40 degrees. We got the fucking winds that are making the lights flicker, and it's nasty here. Winter is definitely upon us.
Did it snow?
We got the
first snow today.
Yeah, we got a little bit of snow a while back, but no snow stick. This is the first time you can see it on people's roofs and shit.
Yeah, we got just a little coverage today. But it was 71 degrees yesterday.
That's what I was saying. Like here yesterday, like in the middle of the day, it's like 53, and now it's 13.
No, it literally was 71 degrees yesterday here.
And I say to myself every year, why are you surprised? I mean, we go through this every year. Why am I shocked when it gets fucking cold? But it's still for some reason.
My space heater has no idea what to fucking do.
You got a MySpace heater?
It only heats his circle of friends.
That's right. Tom.
And for some reason it keeps playing 3 Days Grace. We're not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, it's been like the same way. Hey, up and down here. You know, like I said, it was 71 yesterday, and then this morning I just woke up and looked at the window and I saw it snowing, and I was like, "What the hell, man?" Like I looked at the calendar to make sure what month we were in or what was going on. I'm like, "What is going on here?" And the only thing I like about it is that I know whatever that we're getting now, I know that my ex-wife's going to get in the next couple of days. And I only hope that it builds up steam as it goes up the East Coast and hits Maryland.
Sending some frosty weather your way.
Yeah, she already got lucky with the Key Bridge thing. She wasn't crossing it when it went down, so she got lucky on that one. So maybe I can screw her with this one.
We start this episode of ECW with like a good 4.5 minutes of stills from November to Remember. I'm going to assume. I mean, yeah, obviously you have your Peacock music. I'm going to assume this was set to November Rain by Guns N' Roses.
Huh. I don't know. I didn't really. I knew it had the Peacock music, but I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't have been November Rain. I'm so tired of it. I'm just so tired of knowing when it was going to be on. You know what I mean? Even though I know it's been redubbed by the idiot on Busted Open, who's in charge of all that now. But just the fact that I know that it was November Rain pisses me off. It's like seeing Tommy Dreamer in the first 2 minutes of an ECW show. It just ruins your day.
We get an intro from Joey real quick saying that he's.
Did you want to know the show or not?
Oh yes, Aaron has the results of November to Remember.
Just so everybody knows, and it's not going to spoil anything because it's 30 years ago and whatever. But the show itself was Stevie over David, Tyler, Morton, Jericho.
Cash.
Yeah. Axel over Hack Myers, Bubba over Devon, the Eliminators and RVD, which we'll see clips of throughout this show, went to a draw. Candido over Whipwreck. The Gangsters over the Eliminators, RVD and Sabu. And then Too Cold went over JT, Devon Storm, and Hack Myers. And then Louie defeats Too Cold. Sandman over Raven. And then Funkin' Dreamer over Shane Douglas and Brian Lee. And then 4 notable things from the show is it's obviously the return of Terry Funk, Two Colds exit. Sabu ends up confronting Taz, and then we get at the beginning we get the debut of the BWO, and Chad would probably enjoy this because Hollywood Nova at the start is not known as Hollywood Nova. He is literally called Hollywood Bob Star.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Big Stevie Cool is like it's Big Stevie Cool, the blue guy, and Hollywood Bob Star. They just call him that.
That's awesome. I gotta tell Bob now. Well, I guess his booking rate just went up. Oh, Hollywood Bob Star. Wow, that was a lot of matches for that show, wasn't it? Or were they?
Yeah.
Or were a lot of them? A lot of them, I'm taking it, weren't advertised matches, right? They just kind of ended up happening.
A couple of them, yeah. That like the Rotten Myers match and Stevie versus DTM MJ. You know, man, those weren't advertised, but they were on there.
All right, that's what I figured. I figured about 6 or so matches were probably advertised, and it turned into like 30. Typical ECW.
Yeah, the match the show just flows match to match to match, and you gotta have something in there for, you know, I don't want to say popcorn matches, but you know what I mean. You gotta have some downtime in between the high impact stuff that's going on.
Did you like the Taz promo at the beginning? I did. I thought it was pretty good.
I did too, and I actually put here they have a segment that shows some of the history of Taz and Sabu to remind us of what's been going on between these guys for the past 2.5 years. Then Taz and Fonzie are in the ring, and Taz does the like prick move of spoiling Paulie's big news.
No, you gotta say it like Taz says it. I'm stooging off your big surprise.
Yeah, stooging off your big surprise.
And they obviously clipped it down, but it was a long promo, but it was really effective. And obviously they hit the highlights on this show, but yeah, the promo was really good, and it's funny because Taz comes out and they didn't show it on here, but like he starts to cut his promo, and they're like Taz, like they're chanting Sabu fears Taz, Sabu fears Taz, and Taz flips him because he's like fuck you, you know. It's like I wanted you guys to support, like basically saying like now you guys want to support me, now you guys want to get behind me, fuck you, you know, like. Sabu left and you guys still booed me, and now all of a sudden you want like he turned them because it's like he was professional enough to realize this crowd's starting to get behind me, but he knew the purpose of the promo was for him to be the fucking heel, and he just did a good job at getting them to boo him again. Like they basically went from like cheering him and then like 7 seconds, or not 7 seconds, but like 27 seconds later being like fuck you Taz. So
you know, it's funny that you said it like that, because a lot of people are just, I don't know whether they're just now catching it or it's just been a lot more obvious now that heels and all these programs are actually starting to make sense with their problems. I'm starting to see a lot more posts about pro Kevin Owens, about what he's got going on, and people are starting to be like, yeah, he's got a point. He's got a point. Like these heels are really starting to make some sense now. If you can only make some sense, if you can only make some sense out of a Jonathan Boyd promo.
It's just like watching. It's just like, you know, in hindsight, watching Hulk Hogan's big run in the WWF in the 80s, you're like, yeah, I see Paul Orndorff's point. Yeah, I see Randy Savage's point. This Hulk Hogan's a real son of a bitch.
He's groping Elizabeth.
He's a real prick.
This guy's terrible to his friends. What a jackass.
Yeah. Andre.
Everybody turns on him. Like him and
Andre
Dusty
was
suck.
right.
Yeah. No, him and Dusty suck as friends.
Can't trust him. It's like Hogan. If you look at Hogan in the 80s and early 90s, he's actually a heel. And then as far as his friends and relationships go, Sting's a fucking sucker. Like that's the roles for those two guys.
Turns out Bobby Heenan wasn't such a bad guy.
Oh no, Bobby Heenan was the smartest guy of them all. He was telling everybody for 30 years that Hogan was a piece of crap. Christ, he chased them all over the country from AWA all the way to WWE, telling everybody Hogan stunk. And it took him 30 years for fans to finally figure it out.
And Heenan finally got his comeuppance too when Hogan came out at that bash at the beach, and Heenan said, "But whose side is he on?" He was like, "I'm not fucking selling this shit like he's the good guy. I never have, and I never will."
Yeah, and you hear Dusty get pissed at him for it.
Yeah, come on, Brain. What are you talking about? It's Hulk Hogan.
He's like, I can only imagine Dusty was staring at him, going, "What are you doing?" You're stooging it.
But yeah, the promo Taz and the couple of notes that I had here is Taz obviously doesn't say the word pay-per-view, because in ECW the pay-per-view is not airing until the pay-per-view is on the air. But he does say something about pretty much like a big event in the first quarter of next year. And the other thing that I had here, other than him cutting a promo on Sabu and Paul E, was I thought Taz looked cool in the leather.
Oh.
And Fonzie looked like a weasel in the leather. Like, why's Fonzie got that big leather jacket on for? Look at this idiot.
He's cool though. Fonzie is cool. I'm down with him.
He's Taz's little gimp. He took his mask off before he went out, just so people know who he was.
Yeah, Taz with that stupid hat and that oversized jacket and everything. He loved that outfit too, man. He wore it all the time, dude. All the time. Fucking brother.
It's funny when a guy finds a hat like that and they're like, "I like this hat. I'm going to wear this hat a lot."
Yeah. Him and Shane went hat shopping one day.
Wear this leather limo driver hat. What he was wearing.
All right. They show us, after this segment, they show us footage of a small clip of Sabu. And this one's mainly Sabu and Cronus in action, but from the tag match between the Eliminators and Sabu and Rob Van Dam. And then, like Aaron said here, we get the first appearance in ECW of the BWO, Big Stevie Cool, the Blue Guy, and Hollywood Nova. And
Hollywood Bob Starr.
Hollywood Bob Starr, forgive me. What do we think of the BWO?
It's fucking awesome.
At this point, or like overall? Because I liked them, but I mean, here you can't really get too much of a feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I say, to be honest with you, with Meanie and Stevie, the BWO is my favorite incarnation of Meanie.
Oh yeah, clearly.
The chicken bone instead of the toothpick, and we're taking over and all that shit. Yeah, it's good stuff. And at first they didn't even like I said, I watched the whole show, and they didn't call him they didn't call him the BWO yet. They just called him a world order, and they were calling them like the insiders or whatever. Like at first I think they were trying to, how do I say it? Like at first I think they at first thought, could we get in trouble for this shit? Because before they had like parodied like the Fantastics and all this other shit, but they hadn't really, or the Fabulous Ones, I mean, but they hadn't really gone after that type of trademark. But then they realized that it's a parody, so we can get away with it. Because right now they're just the world. Joey on this show on the show said they're a world order that starts with a B and called them the Insiders. It was Hollywood Bob Starr and all that shit. Yeah, it's enjoyable stuff, and it was a good payoff for all the other parodies they did.
It's also, I know it's a few months in the future, but it is funny also when ECW shows up in the WWF in the Manhattan Center and the BWO comes out. Vince McMahon goes, This is the Blue World Order, not to be confused with the popular clothing line New World Order. Like, NWO is just a T-shirt. That's all it is what Vince is.
Dude, Vince stinks. God, dude. He really does stink, man.
The match we're having here is Big Stevie Cool against, and I wrote down Kid Cash. I didn't write down the parody name.
David Tyler Morton Jericho.
David Tyler Morton Jericho.
Well, this was definitely a one and done for Tyler J. whatever Freeman, right? he never came back again. I don't believe.
Well, I think he's got another one. I think.
Oh, why you gotta ruin it? Great.
The next time, I think he's Morton Tyler David Jericho.
They just keep shuffling the names around.
Yeah.
And he'll be around for a while then.
The match was fine. I liked the match. They did some cool false finishes and stuff of what I saw. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. Stevie winds up winning with a Stevie kick. I don't know if you guys had any more notes on the match, but
I don't have any notes on the match.
Not the match that aired on here, but like I hate to keep going back to the show, but
that's fine.
When we watch the show, like there's a point in the match where DTMJ stops and he goes and grabs the microphone and he gets in the ring and he's like, Stevie Richards, he's like with your booty shorts and your little shirt, you're the gayest motherfucker I've ever seen in my entire life.
Damn.
Like,
booty shorts?
He said, your booty shorts and your little shirt, you're the gayest motherfucker I've ever seen in my entire life.
Damn. He cut right to the chase then. No confusing him with a heterosexual. Yeah, Stevie and his booty shorts. I'm gonna try to bring them back this summer, I think. What do you think?
Who's that Chad with them Daisy Dukes on?
My booty shorts. That's what I'm gonna call them, gay ass booty shorts too. I'm gonna start looking for some jeans tomorrow to cut up.
The booty world order.
Yep. I can't wait for the summer now.
Booty world order.
Booty.
Booty.
Booty. All right, I'm gonna stop. They show us more footage here in the in between of Sabu and RVD versus the Eliminators. Then Joey's back and he talks about the all the stuff that's been going on between Bubba and Devon and all the other Dudleys. And then we get
Bubba laughing about it.
We get Bubba Dudley versus Devon Dudley. And we always love it when the Dudleys are on, right?
Of course. Yeah.
It really is. I don't know. The Dudleys is what do I want to say here? It's some of the best shit this company ever did.
Oh, yeah. Obviously.
From start to finish.
Yeah.
It's like the most original stolen stuff they've ever done.
I would say probably my favorite stuff in ECW is depends on the time and who he's working with and stuff, but I love Raven. I love anything with the Dudleys. And I was telling Aaron the other day, I think when we were doing We Can't Wrestle podcast, I think the greatest piece of business that company ever did was anything involving Mikey and Cactus together. But yeah, that's like probably my three favorite things in that company.
I still think one of the greatest things they ever did was that when Bubba steals the car or whatever.
That was fantastic. That fucking Looney Tunes segment. I love it.
That's always going to go down as one of the best things ECW ever did.
And I don't say like, when I say like start to finish, I mean, even when they became like the like Heat getting healed Dudleys, even that shit was good. Like that act was good the entire time they were there.
Well, even when they were the healed, like for the most part, even when Bubba was doing that thing, even the people he was like interacting with were still smiling. like when he was telling him that his mom sucks dick and all this other shit, and he was like, he was really attacking them, and yet they were still smiling at him, like, yeah, tell me, Bubba, tell me how much of a whore my mom is. Yeah, they definitely. Well, I mean, they started riots for Christ's sake, legitimate riots. This is the
Yeah,
90s.
they almost caused the big show from the first quarter of the year to not even happen because of their shit.
The big show. But aren't you going to spool up Paulie's surprise and say what it is? What is it?
Let's see.
They didn't do too much, right? I mean, they didn't. This wasn't the full match that they showed, was it?
I don't think it was the full match
It
because
couldn't have been.
It wasn't the full match. It was the most. It was the most they showed of any match on the show, but it wasn't the full match. No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought they kind of like hit the. It was either short or they just showed like good highlights.
Yeah, because what they showed, everything they showed was good, fast-paced action. It's funny because Bubba and Devon. I mean, I know they're going to become a tag team, but it's funny because they're really good as a tag team, but they're also really good as opponents, and that does not always translate. Like
I was going to ask you guys is, do you think when Paul brought in Devon, his initial thought was these guys are going to wind up being a team, or do you think when he watched them work together, he was like, these guys would be a really good team? Because that's kind of what he did with Public Enemy. Like, he watched those guys work each other and was like, man, these guys work so good together. They could probably be a good fucking team.
Well,
you know what I mean?
From what Bubba says, Bubba was the one that told Paul to call Devon. Like he picked him. Like he wanted Devon to come in. But I don't know if he wanted Devon to come in right then and there as his partner. But he wanted him to come in the ECW. I know that for a fact. But yeah, that's a pretty interesting question. Plus, do you think they were going to get over like they did?
right.
Huh. Good question.
Yeah, but it is funny to see that there's tag team guys that can work against each other really well, like these guys, and then guys that you would think, as good as they are as a team, would, like, for instance, that brief silly period of time when WCW broke up the Rock and Roll Express. Funny thing is, Ricky Morton versus Robert Gibson, if you're going into it with the expectation of what you think it would be, is actually quite a stinker. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
good.
And I'm not saying that the match sucked, but I'm saying you're thinking this fantastic tag team, well, they have to be great opponents too, and then the match is just a complete letdown.
Well, I mean, by that way of thinking, like Ricky had a whole lot more singles experience. Even when they were a team, look, he had that whole summer against Flair, basically. You know what I mean? That was pretty much 60 minutes against Flair every night, and then when they would do sometimes the Horsemen split ups, it'd be 1-on-1. So yeah, like Gibson was never meant to be a single, never.
Well, and then you mentioned Flair. What about that one time they had Ric Flair versus Arn Anderson? Wow, this should be great. Wow, that was not good. And I don't know if it was because they just didn't want to be doing it or what, but
yeah, probably. I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, like for me, like everybody that I've ever teamed with, I always had good matches against. Still, even when we were, I mean, that was just, but everybody I usually teamed with, I also worked out with, like either trained them or trained with them. So I had more than just that one shot of working them. You know what I mean? But yeah, I can see what you're saying, that Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson wasn't really that good at all.
Any match notes you wanted to bring up about the action in the match, Aaron?
It was a good match, but it was a standard ECW brawl match, and they used the chairs and all that shit. It was a good match though.
He used the chair all right. God, man, them chair shots, dude. Like when Bubba, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bubba even looked at the chair after he hit Devon to like see it, like if it was broken or something. Like he just waffled him, and then he kind of like turns the chair over, and kind of looks at it like, "Damn, I really hit that motherfucker."
Yeah, sorry, Charlie.
and Devon, or not Devon, Bubba's kind of funny too, because it's like, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but he was never bad, but it's like I thought he was better when he was fat. You know what I mean? Like when he got in better shape, I'm like, I still enjoyed him or whatever, but it's like I prefer Bubba fat.
It's because it's the same. It's the same. I think it's the same aspect of like the Big Boss Man. When you see a guy that big doing what that guy can do, it's almost more impressive than when he's slimmed down. You know what I mean? Like Boss Man when he was kind of fat wrestling Hogan, he was fucking. It's like, wow, this guy's fucking good, man.
Yeah. Hey man, that's the same thing that happened to my boy Ruckus when he got booked for New Japan. He got booked for New Japan, and he lost like 80 pounds. And when he got over there, Muda looked at him and went, "What the fuck is this? You're just a regular black guy now." Like he used to be fat. And then Ruckus was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I can't do anything with this." So he worked like one tour, and that was it. Never got invited back.
I prefer my Bubba like I like my John Goodman, fat. Like skinny
Right.
John Goodman just doesn't work for me.
It looks like he's melting.
He was fat. Yeah.
And also, I wrote down here that Bubba Cutter was a sick fucking Bubba Cutter.
Bubba Cutter's great, isn't it?
Yeah, this one particularly, I was like, ooh, shit.
Yeah, because he's
He said to him flying. Like Devon took that thing, man. I don't know how he got up so high either. That was good shit.
So Bubba does hit the Bubba Cutter for the win in the match, and then Joel Gertner comes out, and in what I thought was a fun heel thing, announces that Devon Dudley has won the match on points.
Yeah, but he doesn't say at points at first. He just says that he won. So when Bubba looks at him, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah. He won a long time ago on points."
On points.
Yeah.
And I know the shit that Joel says is funnier and everything, but I think he's underrated in his like facial expressions, because like when he's saying like the points thing and Bubba starts crowding him or whatever, and he's like, "I need you to like step back a little bit," you know. Even when he's saying what he's about to say, like even before he says it, he's afraid, but he's like his face shows that he's already afraid, but he still says it anyway when he's like, "I need you to get out of the way." And even before he says it, he's already terrified, but he has to say it anyway. He's like, "Fat boy." Like he knows he's gonna get his ass kicked. But he still said, Joel was so fucking good, man.
To be honest, I would do that too. I would still do that. Even if I knew I was getting my ass kicked, I would still at least make a point to get one good jab in before I started getting pummeled.
Like I always liked Gertner, but like looking back on it, I'm even a bigger fan of him, and I'm like, man, that dude, if he could have got somewhere else, I think he could have been a bigger deal than what he was. And the slam that happened and the timing of the horn is
I'm
fantastic.
sorry. I was looking at my notes just thinking about it. Well, we get Axel Rotten out to the ring with a chair. Spike Dudley comes to the ring.
Rotten has the worst haircut ever in wrestling.
What's up? Yeah, I was like, "What's up, Pollyanna?"
Don't ask, man. I don't know what was going. This could have been the start of downfall, Axel, in my opinion. Like
I've heard the term Dookie rolls a lot, but I'm like, this actually looks like Dookie rolls.
Axel definitely made some bad decisions in his life and his career, and I think they may have started with this one.
Looks like
This could have been the first one.
Little sausage links on his head.
They were like duty.
Dookie rolls.
Yeah. He thought he was the brat. He was,
The rotten.
he was terrible.
Oh shit. Okay. So then let's see. Axel and Gertner are out, or Gertner and Axel are having like an advantage over Spike Dudley. Big Dick Dudley comes out. Gertner winds up alone in the ring with Big Dick Dudley and Bubba. And Bubba, Chad, did you catch the horn?
Yes.
It was a perfectly timed fucking horn.
It sounded like when he slammed him. Like if you took a balloon, like when you take a balloon, you hold it like that or whatever, and the air comes out. It's like that's like what came out of his butthole. Like they deflated Gertner a little bit.
For those of you that are not watching along, I encourage
He
you to
lost
go
like
watch this
13
segment.
pounds.
Go watch this segment, or you're not going to get it. But there is somebody with an air horn or something, or some kind of a horn out in the audience, and as soon as Gertner hits the mat, that perfectly timed horn goes.
Dude,
Oh, man, I wish there was a way for you to play that clip that I sent you.
air horn's the best, dude. that's to me, the air horn is just as good as a prank as when you see people sitting at a bus stop park bench and there's a big puddle in front of it, and you gotta drive by it. Like, I'd love that because I used to do that one time. I had an air horn one time, and me and an old girlfriend were just riding around blasting people, and we blasted some guy who ended up wrecking his bike into a Taco Bell. he got, but it was she's the one that did it. We pulled up real close to the guy, like literally, like we were coming to a red light, and he was like coming towards the other side of the street, like coming to us while we were going to the red light, and he was only like maybe 6-7 feet from us, and this idiot, my girlfriend, put her stupid air horn right out the window. It was like almost like in his ear, and it was like Benny Hill where the wheels started wobbling. He just crashed into a Taco Bell, and I was like, dude, go through the red light, run this bitch. Oh, I love the air horn, but yeah, it was perfect. As soon as Gertner hit the ground,
Yeah, it sounded like a fucking like I said, like I was like, oh my god, I hope these guys notice this shit because I rewound it like 4 times and each time laughed harder. I was like, that was fucking perfect. And Paulie had to know it was perfect too, or he wouldn't have put it in there.
Yeah, he wouldn't have kept it. Yeah, it was perfect. Dude, air horn you can never fail with the air horn.
So after Gertner gets laid out, deflated,
deflated Gertner,
and then gets hit with a moonsault by Big Dick Dudley. I thought the next thing was really funny too, because usually when you have a segment where somebody's like injured or they're whispering to their fellow heel, you don't get to hear what they're saying. I liked that Gertner was like, tell those people. Like you could actually hear what he was saying, like what Axel was supposed to be relaying to the people. Like usually they don't let you hear them. You know what I mean?
He was doing it really gravelly, and
but it was funny.
Man.
It was funny as hell.
Yeah, I was like, this sounds like Buddy Roberts at the end. Like that's what his voice sounded like to him.
Dude, first off, I'm glad that
voice
I'll be out there with the Samoan SWAT team. My Samoan SWAT team.
Hi, Sandra.
And the last 6 months of world class. Buddy Jack Roberts on the SST.
Robot Roberts. Sounded like.
I'm so glad that Big Dick did that moonsault, because I was getting ready to write down, would any of you guys be scared at all if Big Dick did a run in on you? Because he's never done anything. Like all he does is come in and just stands there and faces you. Like, you know what I mean? Even when he gets hit with a chair, that's it. He gets hit with a chair and still stands there. So, like, I'm just thinking, like, he's got to do something sooner or later, you know. But when he did a moonsault, I was like, thank God. It wasn't terrible. He didn't necessarily hit it 100%, but I mean,
it wasn't as good as his last one.
Yeah, last week's was good. Better. And I wonder if, I mean, did he what do I want to say? Did he fuck up the landing a little bit because it was Gertner taking it and not somebody else?
Oh, I think he just overshot it. Like he just didn't hit. I know he just didn't hit it. Like, yeah, I mean it happens all the time. I mean it's yeah, he just didn't hit it. Like he just overshot it. I don't think he would have gave a shit if he squashed him. Honestly, I wouldn't have. But when you're that big and you're wearing them big ass boots and you're trying to do a moonsault, you're lucky just to stick it. Much less why try to protect the guy. At that point, you're hoping to protect yourself. That was some shit though.
Overall, the Dudleys, the entire Dudleys Gertner saga, the middle of this show was fantastic.
It was the highlight
from
of it.
beginning to end. Oh,
highlight
absolutely.
of the show.
Oh, too. It could totally be. Paul could put that shit on at I don't know, maybe 9:30. Throw a Dudley boy match out there, and it could easily keep it going until 11:15. You know what I mean? With between how it started and the way that it ends or what it becomes, they all do, right? Basically, they all turn into everything else. So the Dudley boys are always a good like way to like start the show. Like I don't mean start the show, but really get the show going from the preliminaries to like now we're going to start giving you something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like now we're going to kick it into this gear. But I'm down with the Dudley boys. Like them.
Right. So after that, Todd Gordon announces that they talk about the Sabu RVD Eliminators tag match. Aaron, you watched the whole show. What was the
really
finish?
Fucking good.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I don't know if they ever air it on the TV show or not.
I don't know. There's not really a finish because it goes to a draw, and that's why Todd's like, we can't call any of these guys a loser, so they're all gonna go in and face the gangsters in a 3-way dance.
So they're all going to be losers.
And the match is really fucking good. And then, honestly, like if you're watching ECW in 1996, that's a hell of a fucking match, man. Like those 6 guys, those are all big fucking players, and you get to see these 6 guys in one match. It's like I don't know if I'm sounding stupid or whatever, but I'm just saying like that's not gonna be bad. You know what I mean?
And the fact that when Eliminators come back out, Joey Styles says Saturn's still bleeding from earlier. Like he just came back out still bleeding and all busted up. That was good stuff. I mean, they were always going to be good matches.
Like even say what you want to say about Mustafa or whatever, but it's like nobody in this match is somebody that I don't want to see. You know what I mean? It's like I enjoy every single guy in this fucking match, and I know I think we're getting ahead of ourselves on the match itself, and I know it's kind of like the ECW everything's going on but nothing's happening type brawl, but like I enjoyed it.
Yep, walk and talk.
Yeah.
Still good stuff. I mean, they kept it moving. You know, it wasn't like they did nothing. They may not have did much, but they didn't do nothing.
Yeah, and there's lots of everything you want to see from ECW in here. There's some good wrestling. There's some brawling outside the ring. You got a couple of guys that are bleeding buckets. It's kind of a best. What do I want to say? A greatest hits of ECW match.
Yeah, pretty much all within one segment of an ECW show, pretty much. Let's just give it to them all,
Now, Aaron,
another thing about it too, like if you do a match like this, like we've talked about it, like we're like a Brian Lee and Tommy Dreamer are having a brawl or whatever, and then you have half the crowd that can't even see it, so you got them chanting, "We can't see shit" or whatever. You put 6 fucking guys out there.
Everybody's getting their own little personal
Everybody's seeing something, you know what I mean? So that crowd's going to be amped up the whole time because they're not all watching the same thing, but they're all seeing something, so they're not bored.
Yeah, each little area of the arena is getting their own little match. It's like they're all just doing the same shit, but it's just for like a smaller part of the arena. They just
Yeah.
branched it off.
So in that aspect, I thought it was a great idea, and I just thought the match came off really good, and I really liked it. I
Yeah, it
also
was good.
like
It
the
was
fact
good.
that oh, sorry.
No, it was good.
I also like the fact that, like, Nate, if you want to go over the finish, you can go.
Oh, no, it's fine. You can. That's fine. You go ahead and do it because I don't know why, but I keep having problems with my audio anyway. So
But during the match, Sabu goes to put one of the gangsters and one of the eliminators through the table, and they move. So he hops off the table or off the chair, and he goes to do it again, and they hop off. So he hops off, but then he goes again, and he's like, "Fuck it," and he goes through the table, and then Taz comes down, goes to attack Sabu. RVD sees it that Taz is trying to attack Sabu, and they get over again the fact that RVD and Sabu are friends again, or now. So RVD tries to stop that, and Taz gets um, RVD in the Kajahatame, which distracts Sabu, which
You got him in a
allows the
what?
totally
What did he get him in
Kajahatame.
again? The who?
And this distracts Sabu, who ends up getting the total elimination on him. And what I liked about it was they hit that on Sabu, pin him 1, 2, 3, and then immediately New Jack jumps off the top rope with a chair into Perry Saturn and pins him. Like, it wasn't like a 3-way match where, oh, this guy gets pinned and then it's like 20 more minutes. It was like boom, pinfall, boom, right here. You know what I mean? And I liked that aspect of it. It's part of the reason sometimes why, like, I don't like Iron Man matches. Like, part of
Right.
me with like an Iron Man match that has a lot of falls or like a bunch of falls in it. It's like, well, if this guy's gonna get pinned in 3 minutes, why wouldn't that happen all the time?
Dude, I don't know about you, but I love watching Sabu get totally eliminated.
Oh, it's
Like,
great shit.
it's like the only time they can like really take out their frustration on him or something is when every time he gets it, he really gets it, doesn't he? I mean, like I have a feeling they were a lot safer giving it to me than they are giving it to Sabu. It's like they enjoy giving it to Sabu. I wonder if there's any heat there or something. Because every time I watch it, I just go, "Oof, man!" And he really got that one.
I just really liked how the ending of this thing was, because it wasn't like drawn out. It was a lot. It was really believable because it was like crash to the table, this boom, boom, boom. It wasn't like, oh, now this happens, and then this is gonna happen for 10 more minutes, and then this is gonna happen for 5 more minutes. It was just like a bunch of shit happened really, really quick, and like the Eliminators got it over on Sabu because he wasn't paying attention, and for like a brief minute they were happy because they got Sabu, but then they were taken out right away too. I liked it.
and the whole thing is also like I said, not only was the match your kind of a greatest hits of ECW match type, but you also have a lot going on with a lot of different stories here too, all mixed into one. And I mean that's Paul Heyman at his best. You know, it's the way that Paulie books. That's him at his best.
You know, it's funny that the way we're describing this, how this match like ended with the finish, because you could totally see the influence that it had on Tony Khan when you watch AEW when they have like 3-way matches and like multi-man. It's the same stuff. That like you don't watch it like I do, so you don't catch it. But yeah,
Right.
they do the deal where if one guy gets pinned, like right after that, another guy gets pinned real quick.
Mm-hmm.
They had that a lot, and Tony Khan even says it himself that he used to go to ECW. You know what I mean? So you can totally see where that's an influence on him, which is it's cool because it's like Aaron said, it doesn't drag back out another 10, 12, 15 minutes again until something happens, you know? it's bam bam, and it's like, wow, what happened? You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of good stuff.
So overall, I give this episode, I give it a big thumbs up. I enjoyed the show from beginning to end. I didn't have any issues. Love the shit, obviously, as we said in the middle with the Dudleys and Gertner. All of that was A plus. Like all of that was an A for me. That was an A plus. Every bit of that. But the show overall, I couldn't really find anything wrong with it. This was a damn fine episode of the show.
Well, you forgot to mention that Sabu was a botching motherfucker on during that like whole brawl. It took him what 3-4 tries.
Oh yeah, yeah.
to jump all over the top rope to the point where he didn't. He just like he was going to do the Arabian something ass plunge over the rope, and he couldn't get to the top rope. So,
I actually love the fact that Sabu's like the one guy in wrestling history that can botch and just be like, it's because I'm crazy. Like, it's not a botch. I'm just crazy.
But I like it. I like it when he gets pissed.
Yeah,
like he puts his hands on his side, like fuck.
he gets mad at the turnbuckle that he's trying to jump off of.
He said he puts his hands on his little hip like I'm a little teapot. You know, it's like,
and then he starts talking in English too.
Yeah,
like that's the best. That Sabu can't speak English, but when he gets all pissed off, boy, he lets the English fly.
Yeah, it just totally takes the mystique of the character away. Like
he knows how to say "oh shit" and "motherfucker."
It's kind of like they build up. It's totally I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like this. So in 1996, in the WWF, they turn Yokozuna face, right, and he's gonna do the program with Vader, which doesn't turn out to be anything special at all. But my point is, his first match when he turns face against Camp Cornette is against the British Bulldog at an In Your House pay-per-view. And they're hyping up that this is the first time, because Jim Cornette's not the mouthpiece anymore. Mr. Fuji's not. It's the first time that Yokozuna is going to talk. And then this big Japanese sumo wrestler proceeds to talk like a black guy. He goes, British Bulldog, you in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like, motherfucker,
yeah.
You jive ass turkey.
He's a Yoba Mamby. What would be the Yoba problem?
Yeah, he goes from Yokozuna to Samoan Gangsta in like 34 seconds. Like, it's fun though.
He's not even Samoan to begin with. He's not even. Well, I know he's Samoan. He's not Japanese.
Yeah, he's not even Japanese. He's Samoan, but he's supposed to be Japanese. But he's talking like a Samoan gangsta.
He wears like wedge pajamas.
It'd be great if they would have put the big silky pajamas on Yoko. Actually, he might have looked like Mabel. I don't know, but
big silky boom boom.
Yeah, big silky boom boom.
That's a lot of silky.
This is silky boom boom bam bam shit.
Oh my god! Imagine if they would have had like the big fan blowing on his big Arabian pants. Fucking Guzina, he stinks. I think the show was pretty solid, man. Would you give it, Aaron? I mean, Nate.
Oh, I just said thumbs up. I gave the middle an A plus, so I give the show an A because everything else was good.
Yeah, I'll go with a good B. Yeah, that's pretty fair. That was pretty decent stuff. It kept me entertained where I didn't write a lot of notes, which means there wasn't much bad.
Right.
I know that. The Gertner stuff was entertaining. The matches they did show, nothing particularly wrong with them, you know. It wasn't. I don't think the whole entire episode was star-studded, but that's good sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
we've been kind of seeing that a little more frequently, I believe.
Well, and I know the three of us, the way that we are wrestling fans, I don't always want to see the main event guys. You know, I sometimes I want to see the underneath guys. I want to see JT Smith or Kid Cash, whatever the fuck his name is. I can't, Robert Morton Downey Jr. or whatever he's billed as. But I want to see
Morton
those
Downey
guys.
Jr., Morton Downey, Andrew Dice Clay, Carlin Jr.
Morton Downey Syndrome Jr.
Downey said,
Yeah, it was pretty
"Hey, you
decent.
guys."
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, like I said, I didn't write down much. I didn't write down much notes at all. I tell because usually I write down when stuff's really good or when stuff's really bad. And the real good stuff was there was no Dreamer.
Not this week.
Thank
I'll be
goodness,
here
man.
next
We get a
week.
break.
But at least the next time we do see Dreamer, Terry Funk's going to be involved.
All right, on. That's cool.
Aaron, what was your grade for this show?
I'd give it a B plus. Like I'm a little I don't want to say not jaded because I really liked the show, but I was a little I had already watched the show, so I already kind of knew some of the finishes of it or whatever. But like when I kicked it off, it was kind of like how Chad thought, like when he texted, he's like, "Is this just a recap show or whatever?" When I first started watching it, I'm like, "Yeah, fuck, this is just gonna be a recap of a Paul Heyman in a dark closet talking about his problems." But I'm like, "Oh no, this is gonna be good shit," and I really liked it.
With Paul Heyman talking in a dark closet. Whenever you saw him, he was in a dark closet. I don't know what's going on with that, dude.
How have I gotten myself into this nutshell?
He must have been having a bad hair day or something.
He really was. Like it's like
I'm locked in this closet. Maybe I should have actually gotten a roommate, and I would be able to get out of this closet.
He's fatty in the house.
Yeah.
Right on.
So I want to thank everybody for listening to the show.
Fatty in the house.
And next week, if you're following along, I believe the episode of ECW TV that we're going to be watching it should be November 26th, I believe. Yeah, close enough. Go to the first one of the 20s in November on the Peacock Network or wherever you watch ECW if you're following along. Also, want to thank everybody who so far has subscribed to the WNR Podcast YouTube page. Because you can listen to the shows on YouTube as soon as they land on the podcast apps now. And we are starting to get some subscribers. And I appreciate that. And we actually have a guy that's been commenting on our shows, which I'm going to mention. Let me see here. If I pronounce it incorrectly, he'll correct me. Actually, he actually has commented on more We Can't Wrestle podcasts than Reliving the Extreme. But Rigamus11J, thank you for commenting. Whoever you are, sir, it might just be Aaron. I don't know, but maybe it's
I don't even listen to our show. You think I'm commenting on stuff?
Maybe it's Archie Mitchell. I don't know, but I appreciate the comments and the
Thank you, Rigamus Amortis or whatever you're.
Rigamortis. Rigamortis, Chris Canyon.
Yeah, his comments are really stiff.
Hey, don't forget to watch if you have on your cable channel on the Reels channel for live PD because they shot in my area the last couple weeks and my store is going to be on there complete with them busting a buddy of mine that sex traffics out of my store. Let's just say he used to.
Is it Rob Feinstein?
No, this guy's actually he's pretty cool. he just gets the girls before they hit rock bottom here in Knoxville, and then he parades them into my store and lets me take a look at them first. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled for live PD when they're in Knoxville.
He brings them in and does the Jim Ross. Welcome to Knoxville, USA.
Oh yes, he does. And then 2 weeks later, they're a mess.
And they're Roxville, USA.
Yeah, pretty much.
On the Roxville.
But yeah, you can still follow me. Just look up Chad Austin, whatever. I'm on whatever all platforms. I'm starting to use X a lot more often now too. So find me on there. And I got a girlfriend too.
Okay.
She don't know it yet though.
She hasn't hit Knoxville yet, right?
Hasn't been dropped off at the gas station.
Nope. Jimmy ain't brought her down yet. he ain't out on bail.
She's still in the back of the Geo Tracker.
Tommy's? Tommy's big cell phone in it.
When she meets Chad, it's going to be like Back to the Future. I am your density.
Oh, well. She's dense, all right. She's got some density to her.
Yeah. All right, we're going to sign off. We'll see everybody next week here on Reliving the Extreme as we continue our journey through the history of ECW week to week. And we'll see you next time around. Have a great week, everybody.